Go back. Watch my videos. This is no longer a game about getting revenge. It is now a game about developing your understanding of the world. I have to know why, Shulk said. What is the reason for all of this? This could not have gone better. This could not have gone better. This is incredible stuff. Hello, if you're here, that means you are watching the edited YouTube VOD of my Xenoblade Chronicles stream. Maybe you're one of those crazy people that ended up here off the streets. This video showed up in your algorithm, showed up on your YouTube app. You were scrolling, you saw that delightful thumbnail I made, and you said, what is this? You clicked it. Well, my name is Jake Steinberg. Nice to meet you. Please tell me your name. Where are you from? Oh, I've actually spent some time there. What do I do? Thank you for asking. I'm a writer, and I like to play video games from a storytelling perspective. And that's actually what we're doing here. I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles for the first time, using my knowledge as a professional writer to predict where the story is going live as I'm playing it, and breaking down the storytelling tools and structure at play in this game. If you've already been here, you know the drill. Thank you so much for being on this ride with me. Let's jump in. We're at chapter 11, baby. Ew, no, not him. Oh, scary. God damn, dude. Oh, hate that guy. Oh God, he's looking at me. Holy mother, oh my God. Oh, that was a really uncool 90-degree turn for that thing to make. God damn. You can take him? I can take him? No, not again. Dunban. No.
We did it! Hero born on the rampage! We can definitely do this!
Oh, damn it.
That was a close one. Tend to your wounds and prepare for the next battle.
Oh, a cutscene. Wow,
Hey,
it's been so long.
Can we get in through there?
It looks as though it's unguarded. It should make for a decent entry point.
Now's our chance, Dunban.
Yes. But don't lower your guard. The Mechon may just be hiding.
Just keeping us on task. Waking us up a little bit, getting us ready for something. It's like, wow, look at that. You can literally see the flag in the distance of like when we get there, something's gonna happen. It's like good structure storytelling here, being like, hey Jake, it's time to kind of focus up. You know, we realize we gave you like a big area to go fight a bunch of guys, but if you could lock in a moment here, that's nice.
I've been waiting for you.
Oh, it's time.
How predictable. I knew you were going to come.
How could you? How could you do this to your own kind?
That ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm just having the time of my life here. Ain't that the point? I even get to take out that annoying Monado brat.
This is fun. I like this.
Beardy, you're talking pretty tough there.
A lot of attitude.
Don't be so sure you can take us all on by yourself.
Come on! I ain't that stupid.
You know what's cool? You know what's cool about Moombah, dude? Moomba's got a strong vocal choice that I actually really like. Sometimes when you have an actor do an accent that's not their native accent, it restricts their ability to have vocal variation, right? The more dramatic of a voice you make, the less variation you have to explore a range in that voice. So if you think about like Batman, you know, I'm doing the Batman thing. It's like how much up and down can you really go before you're no longer doing Batman? Which is why maybe the most famous Batman voice actor there is. I've always kind of had a little bit of an issue with that whole thing, but that's neither here nor there. But I think that this guy talks just enough and occupies as much of the story as he does, not that much, that he has like an extremely unique, braggadocious, very like gross, like, yeah, I'm this. It's like between a douchebag, like a jockey douchebag, and an underbridge troll. It's just good. It's just a good choice. It's like it's nice. It's like landing for me, I think.
What's that sound?
You scumbag!
Well then, Monado boy. Think you can do it? Can you kill them all? I wonder who's inside. Who could it be? Your dad? Your mom? Maybe that special someone.
Someone, it's kind of like extending the consonants there is you see that a lot in villainous characters. If you think about like if you have a cartoon and there's like a cartoon snakes, there's something like inherently a little like yeah, it's kind of fun. Playing on the main focus of the story right now, right? Who's in the faced Mechon? Having that be the source of the tension more than the immediate danger that they're in. What a huge difference from Act 1 to Act 2, right? Where so much of Act 1 is what the faced Mechon are capable of, how immediately dangerous they are. It is a flat understanding of the world. And now in Act 2, it's like, okay, yeah, we've already gotten over that. Now the tension really comes from the meaning of what this means about the world. Yeah, the world has changed. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that fun? How it's like you see a very similar setup, something that we like, kind of a situation we were already in Act 1, but now it means a completely different thing because our understanding of the world has changed. The stakes have changed. Really nice, really clean, I would say. Yeah, I'm really glad we're having this right now because I think this is a good demonstration of something that I was like trying to explain to people in the past couple of sections. And I think this is doing a good job of being like, oh yeah, it's that thing. It's that thing we were talking about. Really nice. Really nice.
Aha! Looks like we have our first contestant. Too bad she won't give me much of a fight.
Wow. Tension, dude.
It's just like with Zanza. Shala, look out!
Too bad she won't give me much of a fight.
Man, Charlotte, you were just gonna eat that if Shulk didn't step in?
Shulk?
Everyone!
Wow, this is cool.
Green claws, and the other one's spears.
Yeah.
There's something different about them.
Sure.
You catch on quick, boy. You're right. These weapons are special. They were made especially to decompose you homs. And no, wait. Any being from Bionis.
Ew. Gross.
I don't know about all this technical stuff, but it's something to do with that ether.
Ew.
Ether is like the Bionis blood. The fortress sucks its blood out for us. Use it to make this green liquid.
You monsters!
Pretty clever, don't you think? This world suits me just fine, Dunban.
I like that line. That's fun. A little double rating there. This world suits me just fine, Dunban. Man, what a thing to say. To assert your existence. It makes you think. It makes you think. I think it gave me a little bit of pause. And it's like, man, what did I what do I think that statement's about, and what is that statement actually about? You know what I mean? Does double writing mean a statement that can have more than one meaning? Good question. So people use double writing a lot depending on the context. I also do this because it can mean a lot of different things. But when you're talking about like storytelling and writing craft, it usually refers to, I guess I'm just repeating myself. You're saying one thing, but you're speaking to like two plots at once. You know what I mean? You're speaking to like the outer plot and the inner plot at the same time.
Mumkhar, you're gonna pay!
I'm tired of your yapping, Mr. Hero!
We're best friends, right?
I'm tired of your yapping, Mr. Hero!
Thank you for the sub! Oh, this is so fun.
I'm gonna squish you like a slug! Right here, where we shared such lovely memories!
Bro, this guy's awesome. I love Moombah, dude. Moomba's good. He's gonna squish us. Oh, okay. Alright. Alright, chat, you ready? Okay. We just got an anonymous gift sub. Somebody just anonymously gifted a sub to Moombah. As far as I know, Moombah is not in the chat. Chat, I feel like this might be a rough fight, honestly. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous, chat. I hope we can win. Oh my god, you know what's so exciting though? This fight is going to end with this fight will end with Dunban having the opportunity to kill Moombah and being stopped by Shulk or simply off of his own devices, not taking the opportunity to kill Moombah. But I do think that Moombah has to die anyways, okay? And I'm trying to, right now, what I'm trying to consider is how you set this up. What kind of contrivance do you create to kill Moombah anyways? So let me talk it out really quick. And let me tell you where I'm at. Because what I'm thinking is you've got to think about meaning. You've got to think about meaning, right? So what is you already had this theory? No, I know. I think I said this last chapter. Like last chapter, I was zoning in on this, but let me come back. Let me talk about where I'm at with this, how I come to this conclusion. So I'm thinking that I'm thinking about thematic closure, right? I've been saying for a while that I think Moombah's role in the story is over. I think it's over. So when a story comes to completion, when an arc is finished, you are saying something. You are involved in a larger theme. You are saying something not just about the story of the game, but of the greater world. You are talking about an existential truth. So we have to think about what Moombah as a character is like representing, what ideas he is putting on the table, what thematically is Moombah supposed to be here, and what will his death represent, right? So thinking about these things, if you look at this character, what do we know about him? Let's like break it down, right? Let's break it down. So this is a character. Wow, I'm getting a lot of notifications over here. This is crazy. Thank you everybody for supporting the stream. I see we've got a lot of good stuff happening on the side here. So yeah, I like this. I love when chat gets involved. I love when chat gets involved. What does he definitely represents selfishness in a sense. Okay. I like that. What else do we got? What is Mumkhar in that first scene now? If you go all the way back to the beginning of the game that we now all remember, of course, what is his defining character action in that first scene? What is the defining character action? And what is the contrast? What role is he playing in that first scene? Cowardice! Let's go! Cowardice! Okay, I agree. I think it's cowardice as well. And I think that what you're supposed to see, good job, chat, you're killing it. Oh my God, chat's killing it today. I think what you're seeing is a foil to Dunban, okay? Because what I think you're trying to do is you're trying to root Mumkhar's arc in cowardice. I saw some people saying greed. I like that as well. I kind of want to replace greed with self-interest, if I'm allowed. Self-interest. And I also just think that in a lot of ways, this is a story about that is concerned with betrayal, like the idea of betrayal. So I want to include that too. So I think those are 3 good ideas. So we've got cowardice, we've got betrayal, and we've got self-interest. And you see that demonstrated with the abandoning Dunban and the other, the group of that group at the original Battle of Sword Valley. And you see it in, I think, his transformation into Metal Face. I think you see that a lot of this character's actions are driven by fear and kind of selfish ambition. A lot of the stuff that we say about the Monado, his relationship to the Monado. And I think what you're doing here is when this character dies, what would that death be speaking to? How would that death be functioning in the story? It would be a rebuttal to those values, right? I think a lot of us recognize it's kind of easy to be like self-interest and cowardice. These are qualities that one does not want to have. So how will the story demonstrate that those are qualities that will not serve you? And it cannot be through it cannot be through a hero killing you, right? Because a hero killing you doesn't speak to those themes. Instead, you need his ego, you need his self-interest. You need it to be this like, hey man, if you pull this sword out of the stone, you will get unlimited power. But we're also pretty sure if you try to pull the sword from the stone, magic will kill you. And he's like, I can't resist, I must try. And then he's dead. And then he's dead, right? So you need to have his death operate in a similar way. It's like you need to have Shulk, who seeing the future, yelling at him, going, Mumkhar, don't do it! Mumkhar, you need to throw a bowling ball up into the air. And you need to say, Mumkhar, if you don't move right now, that bowling ball is going to come down and kill you. No.
Dunban!
The bowling ball.
I will never forgive what he's
The bowling ball.
And yet,
and then Mumkhar to go, you just think you know everything, you stupid. You know what I mean? And then he dies. And so the main idea here is that you need to make sure that he dies not as like a tragic anti-hero, but instead as somebody who could never overcome his overwhelming feelings of self-interest. You've got to make sure that this character, his final moments are not redemptive. They need to be desperate. And you need to make sure that this character ultimately is contrasting with somebody like Dunban, who will suffer physically, but will retain moral strength and ultimately survive. So Dunban, I think I saw some people saying it in the chat. It's like Dunban is definitely supposed to be all about loyalty, about bravery, and about sacrifice. That is a key part of Dunban that you can't overlook. Dunban is so interested in sacrifice. You see this throughout the story time and time again. I love how this is dramatized through his use of the Monado, even though it's physically hurting him, right? Sacrifice. And then I think the other thing that this character is supposed to do, Mumkhar here, with the death, is that what we're all really interested in is not Moombah. What we're really interested in is whatever happens with Moombah will tell us about Fiora and Fiora's situation. That's our chief concern. Moombah is just setting up what our expectations should be and our understanding of what is possible with Fiora. So there is a degree to which like how much of a theme in this game is, I think that there's an existential question that this game is asking now with the faced Mechon, right? you see all of these people. I'm so sorry. You're right. I have been on the screen for a long time. I apologize. I'm working it out. I'm working it out live. You see all of these face Mechon, and Mumkhar calls attention to them, and he says, "Who's in there? Who's in there? Is it your loved one? Is it your parent?" Right? And I think a existential question this game is interested in is the connection between identity and transformation. Is identity lost or erased when one undergoes transformation? And I think ultimately we all kind of have the instincts to know that a story oftentimes will say the answer is no, and that what matters is like what the character chooses, again, free will, choice, what a character chooses to do after that transformation. So kind of what you're showing here is that Mumkhar, given the gift of life, given the gift of rebirth as a Mechon, ultimately chooses to squander it in service of revenge and petty rivalry with Dunban. Given that gift of life through rebirth. And what will Fiora do? What will Fiora do with that gift of life? Will she, if we're assuming that this is going to function as a foil for her, or not even a foil, but just to kind of set our, wow, so that's what it is. It's what I said. So is identity erased through transformation? The game is saying no. So Mumkhar transforms, but he is still who he was when he was Homs. He is still petty. He is still self-interested. He is still greedy. So it stands to reason Fiora, given the gift of rebirth, reawakened as a face Mechon, would retain her empathy. And her identity not wholly erased, though she has undergone a transformation. And we will probably see her, unlike Mumkhar, fight to kind of regain more of her humanity in a way that Mumkhar is like not interested in. So, yeah. Okay, I think that's good. Let's do the fight. Let's do the fight. But also, how does the Maineth part play into Fiora's rebirth? I think the Maineth thing is something that if you've already played the game and you already have like more information about the lore than I do, that it probably seems really, really important to you right now. But to a viewer who is like in this moment, Maineth is just like not important for like anything going on. It's one of those, right? Like, I'm sure you're on the outside already knowing the answer to the question you just asked. But for somebody like me, like the story is not trying to tell you that that's like who is asking me, how is the story trying to prod me to answer that question? I just mean, does it compare to Moombah as he is clearly different than Fiora? Well, I think it's kind of clear in what I'm saying that I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think what I'm saying is it has to do with who these people are, the person they are underneath, right? I'm not really sure where you're at. I feel like you're trying to get me to say something right now, and I'm not really sure what it is. Can you rephrase your question about something that like is actually in front of us? What would you say is the foremost / prominent theme at the moment? To treasure the gift of life or have the ability to change your destiny? I think it's a few things, but I honestly think it's the foremost thing is about like it's a kind of a combination of both. It's about what you choose to do with your life, and like ultimately I think what the story is saying, that you decide what you choose to do with your life, right? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat that I feel are unrelated to the part of the game that we're on. Time for a boss fight. I'm starting. Oh, I'm scared. Okay, let's go. All right, here we go. Good work.
We can definitely do this! Here we go!
It seemed like a good strategy. Might have been silly, I don't care. I feel like I got something good going here. Ooh, ew, poison. I mean, this is working so well for me. Let's go, dude. Oh my god, dude. We're about to do big boy damage. Wow. Chad, I feel like I got smart in there. Oh my god.
Too much.
Let's go.
Too much.
Yes, this is the power of the Monado. You wanted it, so now you can have it, Mumkhar!
I'm better than all of you. You're the one who's finished.
Die! Stop!
Holy shit. Wow, cool. What a fun way to do that.
Get out of my way, Shulk!
This isn't you, Dunban.
Mumkhar! He's not a Mechon!
Have you forgotten everything he's done? Where is your killer instinct? Now is the time!
Whoa.
I hate him, Dunban! For what he did to Fiora and the Emperor!
I hate him, Dunban.
So of course I want to get my revenge!
Whoa, man, what a different game.
But... Face Mechon are not...
This is crazy. This is crazy. What an awesome demonstration of what I was talking about with the midpoint. How everything has changed because of that reveal of Fiora in the faced Mechon. It has to change, because if your perspective does not change, then everything is lost. Shulk has been forced to change his motivation of what the whole drive that he had before, what he was doing. He had, like, look at this transformation being demonstrated right now, protecting this dude with the Monado, standing up to Dunban, dude. What an awesome moment. This is so fun, dude. This is what this structure is all about. That is awesome. That is so cool. That is so fun.
Like the others, they're people. Like us. Are you really willing to kill another Homs?
Yes, sometimes needs must.
Even if it's Fiora? What then? When we set out, I wanted to destroy all Mechon. That was my aim.
Tell him, Shulk.
But now...
You've changed.
I know that there are people inside.
Yes.
I have to know why.
What?
What's the...
This is amazing. Go back. Go back. This is insane. Go back. Watch my videos. This is no longer a game about getting revenge. It is now a game about developing your understanding of the world. I have to know why, Shulk said. What is the reason for all of this? This could not have gone better. This could not have gone better. This is incredible stuff.
Reason for all of this? Why do Bionis and Mechonis have to keep on fighting?
The world. Now it's about the world. Dude, incredible stuff.
I have to find out why.
Have to find out why. He said it again.
That is your fight.
Yes! Music! No.
Dumbo.
The bowling ball.
I will never forgive what he's
The
done.
bowling ball.
And yet, your words, they ring true.
No!
I feel their weight.
No!
We have to help Fiora now.
Yes, let's go,
We'll worry
Dunban.
about the rest later.
Right.
Oh, great dramatic turn.
Did you hear that, Mumkhar?
Oh,
We haven't got time to be playing around with you.
yes.
You always had to have the last word.
Pettiness.
Just die!
Mumkhar, don't do this. You will die. Whoa. Real bowling ball in the sky moment.
No!
Just
Don't move!
die!
Mumkhar!
No! No! Not like this!
Mumkhar,
Wow,
you
Temelia,
went too
weird.
far, you fool.
Yeah, he did. Okay, I don't feel bad about my really long yap anymore. I feel like it delivered. Okay. Wow. Where do we go from there? Stop, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready. Holy cow.
They are of surprisingly little use, those visions.
Because he could not save his majesty. That was within the margin of fate.
Margin of fate.
It was not Shulk's fault.
So you side with the boy.
Did you find anything out?
I did. It is most fascinating, this spear. The green fluid alters and destroys the structure of the ether, which is the building block of life on Bionis. It appears to have been created from ether energy drawn from the blood of the Bionis.
Could that explain the ether flowing through Sword Valley?
I do not think it is the only reason, but it is too early to draw conclusions.
Is there a countermeasure?
Creating antibodies is a simple matter. We will be ready.
That is good news.
Why did you have to include him? You know how he disgusts me.
We must respect our elders. Dixon has known him far longer than us.
How dare they? Oh, I hated that scene. I hated that. I thought that was horrible for the pacing. Absolutely horrible. I hated that we just went off there. It was like it felt like none of that information was meaningful at all, and that scene was just there to to have something to not pay attention to. Oh, that scene. Hated that scene. Hated it. Oh,
He's out of the way. Now we just need to get inside.
They're in there. Fiora and the Golden Mechon.
Okay, I will say the bowling ball prediction was hilarious. I will say it's not entirely fair because I was just kind of, I didn't mean like literally, and I was talking about something that I actually think I've used as a point of reference before when talking about this game. There was I think it was when we were picking up Charla, like back early in the game. I was like, oh, we're going to do a bowling ball situation. And I talked about the exact same thing I talked about here. It was just kind of funny to see it play out like that because that was That was a true bowling ball scenario, man. To have something to not pay attention to, not sure I get that. It felt like almost everything that they said in that scene, Alvis and that lady, it was like just reiterating something that they had already said about the new green ether weapons earlier in the scene. So it was a low impact scene because the scene that came before it was so high impact that it was like, oh, okay, we're going to do something right now that if you're just like reeling from that scene we just came from, you could miss this entirely. And it's not even that big of a deal. It's like, I'm sure there was something in there that was like important, but like, like whatever was in there that was important, I feel like it wasn't even like I shouldn't even be able to clock what was important about it right now. So it just felt like a you know, kind of scene. So oh, cool. I think that's the Fiora one. Nah, I got nothing out of that.
Fiora. Shulk. What's up?
Did you see something?
No.
You did see something.
All right. It was the silver mechon.
Shulk loves doing this. This is Shulk's favorite mannerism. Shulk, what's wrong? Nothing. Shulk. Okay, fine. That's Shulk's favorite thing to do.
Fiora. She's definitely inside the fortress.
All right. At least we know what to expect.
Oh, that's so cool.
Fiora is inside. I can't let that vision come true. I have to save her.
Ooh, nice little There was a that was I like that little choice there, that Shulk voice. It was a little higher. It was a little. Shulk doesn't normally go into that range. It was a little lithe. It was a little. I have desperation. Ugh. I have to save her. You know, that was nice. Another vocal choice I just really liked was that when Mumkhar died, whatever that it was like, I think the line was like, it can't end like this or not like this. They like the way that he did it, it didn't like at least when I heard it, it like didn't even get to the S. It was like, not like that, you know? I actually liked that. It was cool.
Not like that!
Mumkhar.
Cool, guys. That was really fun. So now that we're off of emo only mode, does everybody, do you guys feel like that very explicitly dramatized kind of the stuff I was talking about the change from Act 1 into Act 2. I was so happy about that, but I just want to check in with you guys that was okay. So we're all on the same page there. Okay, that's really cool. I thought that was really cool. It was 100% yes, definitely cool. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I like that was so fun to watch just because it was so satisfying. It was so satisfying to be like, man, Shulk is like right there with us. Would you believe that that is the scene that people say is out of character for Shulk? Really? Because he saves, because he tries to save Mumkhar? People don't like that? I think it is so satisfying because it shows that the story is in a constant state of evolution. It is not willing to be lazy. It is not willing to say that the journey that we have been on has not had an effect on our character. The stuff that Shulk has seen has dramatically changed his perspective and thus his role in the story. It is dynamic, right? And I think that's why I really like it. It's like you did all of this work in the game up to this point, and you didn't complete your mission, but it was for something. It was for you so that you could get here. And that's what stories are about. You know what I mean? They're about meaning. And I feel like Shulk is on an adventure, a journey that he thought was about revenge, and now he realizes it's about meaning. And it's like, oh my god, he like getting closer and closer and closer. It's so cool, man. Oh, I really like it. I really like it. Yeah, I really like it. Ika player, your predictions were so accurate that it felt almost comical when you were making them. Yeah, I mean, I definitely was not expecting Shulk to speak like truth to power to that degree, but I think what I really like about it, chat, is that it felt so theatrical. It felt so, they had Shulk say his new stated like purpose and intention, not in like a calm moment when he was talking to the group and they were like, now that I've seen Fiora in the faced Mechon, this changes everything. I guess I can't be all about revenge now. And like, what happened was the intensity of the scene, the like emotional and literal intensity got ratcheted up all the way to the top. I am Dunban running at this guy. I am going to kill you. And that being the turning on of this emotional faucet, that being the impetus to have truth emerge out from underneath these characters and jump off the page. It's like it felt so earned for that reason, right? It didn't just have that moment of exposition come in a moment that didn't push Shulk. I really like that, chat. I really like it. I think they nailed that moment. That is awesome. If I was like working on this and I was like doing my job, I was like editing the story, I would be giving this person like huge kudos right now. I think they really, this is like how you do it, man. So good. I feel like there might be some comments in chat that are talking about kind of like it feeling a little tropish, and I think that the trope is always better than the trap. Sometimes people are like, oh, this feels like a story I'm familiar with or I recognize or whatever, and I'm like, no. What you are doing is you are clocking something that makes sense, something that is like in a language this is like good stuff. This is satisfying stuff. Don't choose to avert and eschew structure meaningful storytelling because you are in pursuit of trying to be like original for no reason other than to go counter to people's expectations. That's not meaningful or satisfying. Yeah, really good. Damn, really good. I have to find out why. Man. Ooh, I really like this comment from Aspirin Juice. He doesn't really try to save him. It's more like just stopping Dunban. Yeah, honestly, I wonder how I even said it when I was making my initial prediction about how that scene was going to go down. Because I remember being like, Dunban has to try to kill him, but not. And either somebody has to stop him or Dunban has to realize, because that's the important thing. The important thing is that Dunban doesn't cross that line, right? Yeah, really cool. People say it's out of character because they weren't expecting his growth at that moment. Yeah, that's such a bummer. To me, it's like a musical number, right? It's like when you're watching a musical and there's like a scene and people are just talking, but when the emotions hit their fever pitch, when there is a degree of revelation that cannot be contained, the world gets bigger. And it's like this cutscene, this battle. It's like that's the musical number of this theatrical performance. I really like it. I think it's fun. I think that's like a slightly campy, but in a good way. A great articulation of the drama, dude. Really like it, man. People more so are lost on him saying that. Ooh, I'm gonna get to these. Thank you everybody for supporting the stream, by the way. I'm just trying to stay on topic, but I will get to these. Still Damage said people more so are lost on him saying that Mumkhar and Fiora are the same and needed to be treated the same. You know, I actually think I talked about this way back too. It's because back when I thought it was going to be Gatto, because whatever you do to Mumkhar it like implicates you for how you treat Fiora, right? Because if Shulk lets Dunban kill Mumkhar, that means that when you get to Fiora, the expectation is that you are going to kill Fiora. So Shulk is desperate. Shulk is desperate for a revelation in meaning that will lead to them saving Fiora. That's why he needs them to save Mumkhar, because they're in the same boat. Man, I hope people see this. It's really good, actually. Electric Video Gamer said, it's a change in circumstance. If you realize that your endeavor could result in killing your friends, you would change your perspective too. Exactly. It's like something has to change. Something has to we have to change. We have to change so that we're not all of a sudden on this adventure that's about killing people that we once loved. Man. Loud Kermit said, with a bit, how did you feel about that scene specifically as a send-off to Metalface as a villain? Loved it. He served his purpose. I spent a lot of time in the last section talking about how I was like, man, I'm not really sure what we're doing with Metalface or with Mumkhar anymore. Like, isn't his story over? And the way that they used him to ultimately, what they did is that they used him to bring the emotional themes to the surface. They used him as a tool to push a lot of this stuff bubbling up underneath our characters from the midpoint. They used him to dramatically push that stuff to the surface, right? To have that climax in that scene where it all came out. That's like, what a great way to use him. Really cool. Really cool. Okay, Mecha Kuragane said, a lot of fans dislike that he tries to save Mumkhar. They feel like, unlike the other faced Mechon, who clearly had their minds manipulated, Mumkhar made an active choice to do everything he did, so several fans dislike it. Yeah, I think what's tough about that is that the characters in the story are only responding to what's in front of them. So I feel like that criticism is coming from a place of knowing too much. Fans dislike that he tries to save Mumkhar. They feel like, unlike the other faced Mechon, who clearly had their minds manipulated, Mumkhar made an active choice to do everything he did, so the fans dislike it. Yeah, I think that is, people are arguing a perspective that doesn't really exist in the game there. And I also think that people are kind of misunderstanding what the meaning of all of this stuff is, like what the story is trying to... Yeah, I think there's a lot of misreading happening in that perspective. Yeah. This is really the turning point for Shulk as a character, said Aspirin Juice. So Aspirin Juice, I think that this is interesting, because I disagree. I think that the midpoint is where that transformation took place, but we did not just see it explicitly kind of stated until that moment. I think that transformation already happened. From when that reveal, Fiora in the Mechon, okay, we are no longer on a revenge mission, right? Colwitz said, it's weird to see Shulk change his opinion on Faced Mechon, but I don't understand why he continues to say, oh, nothing, when someone asks him what's wrong. That's just who he is, baby. That's just his personality. Cool. With 15 bits, Jake and Bacon. I also like how Shulk's desire for revenge is a bad influence on the whole party, but expressly Dunban. Old Dunban tried to talk us down from taking revenge, but now he's the one driving the revenge. Sure, yeah, that's fun. Ruroni Rockman said, my only hang-up is that in the immediate aftermath of the death of the Emperor, Shulk is still talking about a drive for revenge as a motivator for Melia. Does the Velek mountain sequence change enough to get us from there to here? I think so. I think so, because like for me, I think it's about the change happening before Shulk even realizes it. And it's like, oh, the change has taken place. And then there's the expression of the change. I think that like, I honestly, I think that this is really well done, because I almost think that if the change happened and the character was immediately aware of all of the emotional and literal implications of everything that happened in that moment, it would feel so forced, but also just like the story knew where the character needed to go. Whereas this way, it's like the midpoint happens. You get the reveal. We're reeling from the reveal. If you go back, it's kind of funny, chat. If you go back, I actually remember saying this, and I got a lot of... I remember when I said this, and there were a bunch of comments in chat that were like, well, obviously. Yeah, everybody knows that. And now looking back, I think people might know what I was meaning a little bit better. If you go back to... There's a point in my video where I talk about here's just a list of predictions I wrote down for what's going to happen after the midpoint. The first thing I say is that the party will reel from all of the stuff that was just revealed. And everybody was like, well, yeah, obviously they will. And I think part of reeling is that you don't know the full implications of, you know what I mean? It hasn't settled in yet. But you're like, you're shaking. You know something has changed. What is it? And then you see Fiora again. You get the Mumkhar coming out of his little metal face guy. He's talking to you. You know what? Things are settling in. The wheels are turning. And then in this, when things come to a peak and decisions need to be made, here is where we've landed. Here is what we are doing. We knew we needed to point our story in a new direction, and now everybody is on the same page. Dunban, you were the player in this moment. I thought we were doing this. Shulk, no. We're doing this. With 5 bits, Mecha Kurogane, so Mumkhar is a good villain. However, my biggest criticism of him is that he does not feel like a Dunban villain until Valak Mountain, really. He is more of a Shulk villain. I wish he had more interaction earlier with Dunban to really show the broken friendship. I guess I don't really know what we mean here. He's a good Shulk villain, but he's not a good Dunban villain? Yeah, I guess I don't really know what that means. I think he's playing a role in the story. I don't know if, like, because, like, in your version of this, how you're imagining it, what does it look like, and what does that accomplish? There was plenty of interactions with Dunban during the Prison Island. Screen time of Shulk and Dunban and the Metal Face is equal. He's a good antagonist to Shulk, but not to Dunban until the reveal. Oh. Yeah, I guess I'm just having a hard time seeing, like, what the vision is otherwise for. I don't want to dismiss it. I'm just having I'm trying to zone in on, like, what the. I think I understand the observation. I'm trying to understand the criticism, if that makes sense. Yeah. Samuel the Wise said, the only thing I wish was different about that scene was to involve Melia in it more. The scene focuses on her for a brief moment. I clocked that too. As Mumkhar falls to his death because he killed the Emperor, her father. Oh, right, but I think we needed more. Yeah, I wouldn't have hated a line about that, honestly. Maybe have Melia call Shulk out on convincing her that revenge was the way to go. Back then, where Shulk and Dunban are clashing. Yeah, it's tough though, right? Because I think, like, the way the scene did play out, it played out the way it did for the sake of the story that they're telling. And I think for better or for worse, the game is not interested in it feels like something that was on the cutting room floor. Like, that's my instinct. I can see that version of that scene where there's, like, a little aside with Melia, and I can also see me, the editor, being like, we don't need this. We don't need this. We're hitting high impact stuff like right now. We don't need it. That's, yeah. So it's tough for me to diagnose that because I can see the world in which the game has this, and I can also see the world where I go, well, you don't need this. I guess I just don't think that. Oh, let me read this comment. It feels like the shift to Dunban feels late for it to be a Mumkhar versus Dunban up till Prison Island. It feels like he is only taunting Shulk, despite him having more of a connection to Dunban. I think it's the framing from the Colony 9 attack till Prison Island. I know it's to keep the reveal hidden, but that's how it feels to me. I guess that, to me, that's low impact. Right? Because what's happening there is that Mumkhar is serving what the story is interested in. And if you go back to those earlier scenes and Mumkhar is like ignoring Shulk and taunting Dunban, like, who is that serving in that moment? It's serving the person who has already played the game and is looking back. And I'm not interested in that person. I'm interested in serving the person playing the game in the moment they're experiencing it. So I get what you're saying. This kind of feels like an argument of logical consistency, which I don't think is really, like, the most interesting thing to engage in. And I don't really think that, like, we need more tension between Mumkhar and Dunban, because I almost feel like the existence of Dunban alone is enough friction between those characters. So, yeah, I guess I'm just not sure, like, what we're trying to fix in the storytelling. If the thing Like, it feels like what we're trying to fix is logical consistency, which is like fine, but it's not like super important to me. Jake, weren't you also like the last person to find out that Mumkhar was metal face though? Yeah, but that's what but how is this a criticism of what I'm saying? But like, that's what I'm saying though, is that like how Metalface was operating in those scenes was interested in the things that I was interested in. The Metalface was not interested in trying to tell me that he was Mumkhar. I was interested in a story about Shulk. So I feel that the game was interested in a story about Shulk. If you added more friction between Moombah and Dunban, it might give it away sooner. Yeah, I just don't think it really matters too. Like the reveal, I think a lot of people in the chat are maybe putting too much emphasis on how important it is to reveal or not reveal that Mumkhar is Metalface. I feel like ultimately, to what's going on in the story, it's like kind of low impact. You know, when I saw that Mumkhar was Metalface, I wasn't like, this changes everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. How do you feel about the story being very heavily Shulk-centric and other characters mostly being support for Shulk as a character? Good. I feel good about it. Mumkhar is never mentioned before the reveal. The characters have forgotten him, so they don't care. Right, exactly. It's like Mumkhar is not important. What he is important. What he represents, how he serves the other characters is important. It's not important that it's a Mumkhar in that robot. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, chat. I wanted to catch up on chat before I did this, but I desperately have to take a bio break. So I will be right back. Since I have caught up on chat, I will return post haste. Thank you everybody for watching. They do this kind of cool thing, I think, with Mumkhar, where now that I kind of can see this whole picture, I think what they're trying to do in this story is have it function as the end of a certain phase of the story, because Mumkhar now is a pretty persistent, or Metalface is a pretty persistent antagonist in the entire first half of the game. And when you take him off the board, what it does is it kind of clears the narrative space for other stuff, you know, and primarily like, I don't know, what would you say? Like deeper philosophical and emotional stakes. Like, you know, it's not a coincidence that you take Mumkhar off the board before you really do anything interesting with Ejul. And some of maybe like the bigger stuff in the world that the game is interested in. It's cool how they kind of like lined that up. So you're not like juggling too many things at once. Man, I really like that they didn't overcomplicate Mumkhar here. There really were so many ways to kind of mess up that character. Arrow no me, do you think Melia's character got enough out of Metalface after he killed her dad? Maybe not. I don't. It's tough because I think that's a question that I'm asking myself, kind of like removed from the ride, from the story I was on. I loved the scene that I watched, and the scene that I watched in the game that I'm playing does not leave me here going, but did Melia get enough juice? You know? So it would be kind of like inauthentic for me to say, yeah, she needs more, because that thought just never would have occurred to me naturally, you know? So so I think the answer is no, because I think if the game made me desire that and then that desire was not fulfilled, I would have an issue with it. But I just don't feel that the game was like trying to prod that in me. How late is too late to introduce a character or a concept like Mayneth into the story? I don't know. Chat's so interested in Mayneth, and I really don't. I feel like maybe I had a Mumkhar moment at the beginning of the story. I feel like my brain like shorted out or some shit. I feel like we haven't seen anything about that character yet. Okay. A lot of the chat says that I think what you're saying is that that's okay that I feel that way. Okay. Yeah, I'm literally like, who? Like every time somebody puts that thing in the chat, I'm like, I don't care. Like, why? Like, what in the game is trying to... It's so funny. I'm like, what in the game is trying to get you to think about Mayneth? You know what I mean? I don't know. Are there any characters in the party that you want to get more or less shine in the story at the moment? I feel like Fiora has to come in fast. I feel like we can't do that much before we kind of like get a lot more from... I think the story is yearning for Fiora. She can't be like way off in the distance now at the end of the game. I think I would like... I think I would be... I'd be like, you know what I mean? But otherwise, I think everybody's kind of doing okay. Like out of everybody, I think I kind of want to like maybe Dunban to just talk a little bit. I'm just kind of interested in that perspective, but not in a way that's like super pressing. So yeah. All right, cool. You said that if they kill Mumkhar in this part, it would set the expectation that they kill Fiora later. I'm curious why that is. Dunban's whole thing is that he wants to kill Mumkhar for what he's done. And as far as they know, Fiora hasn't done anything wrong. No, so the implication there is that when Shulk stops Dunban from killing Mumkhar, what does he say? He says, "That's Mumkhar!" And you know what I mean? There is a like philosophical and an existential question at play here where I think the tension is in this is a Mechon. He's not a Mechon. That's Mumkhar. You know what I mean? And I think if you were to accept that, you would be accepting that the same is true for Fiora as well. Does that make sense? Is that something they say? It's a Homs in there. Yeah. Do you think Mumkhar's influence will stay with the story for much longer? I guess it depends on what we mean by influence. Oh, chat, we forgot to acknowledge it. But how awesome was it when in the middle of that boss battle, I figured out the thing with Ricky filling up the party meter. Was that not so hype? I was dying. I was like, oh my God. It felt incredible. It truly it felt incredible. And the topple lock, is that what that was? Dude, I felt like a genius. Chat, I literally felt like a genius. It was an incredible moment for me. The Matrix was unfolding. It was incredible stuff. It just kept working. So I just kept doing it. Man, so many fights after the... Wait a second. We're still in chapter 11? Wait. Oh man, dude. So... This was just a small part of this chapter. Wait, that's crazy. So like... Yeah, a true Rutro Raggy moment. I'm literally, my mind is spinning right now. I guess like, oh wait, Ludicil, great question. What did I say? Chapter 14? Oh, we've got plenty of time for that kiss. We got plenty of time for that kiss, man. I feel like, okay, so the question on my mind is that my desire in the story is like, what did I say earlier? I guess I want Fiora. That's what the game is like pointing me towards. I'm like, I don't want them to hold off on Fiora. That's what I want. But I'm also trying to balance that with the other thing I said, which is like, I feel like you get Mumkhar off the board so that you can have your bigger antagonist step up. So who I think is the Ejul guy. So yeah, I guess I'm just trying to decide how you would structure this. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, actually. Yeah, but that guy's coming. That guy's coming. Now, chat, remember, my prediction was not just that there will be a Fiora kiss. Remember, I went further than that. I said that there will be a Fiora kiss, and they will like talk about it. They will. Huh. Wow, Shulk. Your lips are so soft. Oh my goodness. When When did this hair grow upon your cheek, Shulk? When you, Shulk, you have grown up. You have grown up since our days back in the colony. Why is everybody telling me to stop? What is it? What's happening? What's wrong with this? Oh, Shulk. Oh, that's swinging the Monados. Your bicep. I don't remember it being so. I don't remember it being so taut, Shulk. Is this the power of the Monado, or are you just happy to see me? Oh my god, alright. Oh man. That's good stuff. What a good boy. I hear him up there, chat. He's doing something. He's stirring. I hope he's eating. I hope he's eating his lunch. What a guy. With a fresh cut. That's the Twitch exclusive content. I gotta say, I got some YouTube comments that were like, he always says that this isn't gonna be in the YouTube video, and it always is. And I was like, okay, no. Sometimes it is, because on watching back, I think it's funny. A lot of the time, it's not. There is a lot of Twitch exclusive content. All right. Here we go.
Here's our way in.
There's no turning back.
We can't let them find us. Let's move.
Right.
I don't think this is a spoiler. I just want to make sure I know what's going on. Who is them? We can't let them find us. Is it just the Mechon? Mechon? Okay. All right. I was like, I don't know, guys. I think you just handedly dealt with a gang of Mechon. Who's gonna stop you at this point? All right. Oh, okay.
Where are we?
Looks like the control room for an ether blast furnace. There, look at that.
So this is what supplies the Mechon with ether energy.
Shulk, what's that? Oh, looks like fun. Ricky, want to ride?
We didn't come here to mess about, furball. Time to bounce on.
Hold on. If we can stop that piston, we might be able to shut down the blast furnace.
Nice idea.
Okay.
Cut off the Mecon's ether supply.
Ricky, say we try.
Man, that seems like a
but how are we
intense
supposed to
action.
stop something that massive?
If we can stop the turbines driving the piston, it should work. And the
okay.
turbines should be nearby.
Right. Let's search for them.
What do we do? What is this? Is this just like a fight to the end of the hallway, press a button, fight to the end of the other hallway, press a button, and then you're ready to move on? I feel like we took this action without really considering what we were doing, but
we did it.
This should prevent them from mobilizing any large Mechon squads for now.
All right, if you say so.
Hopefully, we've improved the Allied forces' chances.
Cool.
Hold steady, my brother.
My brother. Oh, that was to her brother. Oh, okay. I see now. I thought she was talking to Dunban.
Friends, here.
It looks like the door's been unlocked.
Nice.
Dunban, my brother.
Let's get down to the blast furnace.
If we're lucky, Fiora might be down there.
Oh, Shulk, you got that one-track mind. Shulk, you're down bad. Melia is right there. Melia, half the reason you came on this little adventure with us was because you were worried. about Shulk's wandering eye. Whoa. Oh, cutscene.
Shulk, is that?
Spear ones. Loads and loads of spear mechon.
Huh. Damn, we're getting into it. Okay. Guess I was wrong. Now? We're just fighting? Wow. Was not expecting that. Holy cow. I'm dealing with the ads first, chat. I'm trying to have a little strategy over here. Done. We got it done. No worries.
Stop! Don't you recognize Shulk? Fiora! Fiora, please! Don't you remember us at all?
It's no use. Everyone,
give her a second.
Retreat.
Got it.
Understood.
No, stop it. Oh, okay. I thought we were getting ready for a separation of Shulk and the party. Not again. Oh, shit. Ouchies.
You all right? Yeah. I think so. What do we do now, Shulk? We ain't gonna last long here.
Fiora! Try and remember! It's us!
I pity you. Without the power of that sword...
Who's this?
I doubt you would ever have made it this far. Apocrypha. Activate.
Ah, yes. Whoa, tail.
What is?
Ooh, I like this. Yes.
Huh?
What a freak.
Hey, what's going on? What's
Bro.
happened to the Monado?
He deactivated it.
Look out!
My Monado ran out of battery.
I'm... okay. Shulk, wait here.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. For them to deactivate the Monado, I fear that we are about to suffer a big hit, a bit of a loss right now. That's crazy. I don't think that you oh man, you're putting us in a really rough position. But you know what else you're doing? You're putting us in a vulnerable position. And a vulnerable position in front of Fiora, who at this moment is having a tough time remembering us. So maybe that added element of vulnerability, of danger, will actually be just what we need to get Fiora to come to her senses and do something for us. That was nice by Ryan there, I gotta say. That was a good combo.
Fiora!
Oh.
Stop this right now!
Dunban's giving it a shot.
How could you? Shulk came here to save you!
Oh.
Do you hear me? Fiora!
This is nice. She's thinking. She's cooking.
You must run.
Dude, now, yes. Now turn around and take a swing at the big golden guy.
Fiora.
Yeah.
Or whoever you are.
Please, run. The machine is not under my control.
Not under your control? Is it him?
Most surprising. I admit I never expected such resistance to becoming a faith.
Wow, cool.
Egil.
Fiora, what have you done to her?
From the moment of their creation, all Mechon are mine to control. Should a passenger defy me, I force it to obey.
Why make Homs into Mechon? Why are you making them attack Bionis?
Yeah, why?
If you wish to know, you have only to submit yourself to me. All will become clear when you attack Bionis with a new body born of Mechonis.
Never! Who would ever submit to you?
Forget about him. We have to get out of here.
But what about Fiora?
If we die here today, she will be lost forever.
Choose. I have rendered the Monado useless.
Whoa.
You have no hope of victory or escape.
You chunk of scrap! So it was you who did that to the Monado!
The Monado is a tool that regulates the waves of the very ether from which the world is formed. Therefore, it can be counteracted simply by releasing opposing waves.
Simply.
But how can you?
The questions end here. Hand over the Monado. After all, it is no longer of use to you.
Never! If the Monado really is powerless, then why would you want it for yourself? I will never give it to you. Never!
Then make your choice. Be crushed by my fist, or slain by your old friend.
Egil.
What are we doing? What are we doing? What is this? We're fighting Goldface? Oh, Jesus, this is not gonna go well, chat. Ooh, ouchies. All right, let's take him on. Let's go for it. Oh, man. Took the fat tail. All right.
I cannot allow this. That boy is at risk.
That boy. As if they haven't said his name a million times. Oh, there you go. She's in there.
Who are you?
She's in there.
This is the end.
Whoa.
Heir to the Monado.
Cool.
Whoever you are, please lend me your strength. I won't let you do this.
Fiora!
How dare you defy me? Worthless machine!
Damn, dude, this is crazy. They're popping off right now. They're popping off. How's this gonna end?
No matter how much you yearn for revenge.
Revenge!
I will not permit you to have your way.
What the hell?
The Monado?
Oh, she's turning it back on?
How?
Giving it the right waves? Okay.
No, stop!
Oh shit, he knows. He knows.
Please, survive.
Will you die for them?
Whoa, dude. What is this? What is this?
Fiora!
Not good! Let's get out of here!
How are you going to get out of here?
Shulk!
surely we're doing this to separate out Shulk and Fiora from the rest of the party, so that they can have some one-on-one time. Probably. I don't know how we're getting out of this. But that would be my.
Where are you? She'll get back here! Fiora!
Whoa, what a shot. Oh shit. Oh, he's jumping. He's 100% jumping. No chance he doesn't jump.
No!
The power of that face. No, that is not possible. It cannot be.
That's crazy. Fun.
The fortress has collapsed?
Okay.
What of Melia? And Shulk?
The observation was based solely on long-range intelligence. We cannot be any more specific.
Makes sense.
You don't need to worry about them.
But...
Take it easy. I've got a pretty good idea where they are. If you're gonna attack, you better do it now. Their fortress ain't completely destroyed.
Whoa.
Or do we just sit here and wait to die?
Huh.
Shall I perform the divination ritual now?
Forgive me, Seer. That will not be necessary. From now on, we will seize our destiny with our own hands.
We don't need to see the future. The Mechon forces are on their way. No doubt about it. I like the look in your eye there, lad. It's time. This is war.
Okay. No. Give me more. Give me more. Hungry. I hunger. I hunger. I hunger for more.
It's been a long time since I last had this dream.
Whoa. What the frick?
I reached out for a piece of scrap metal. And then I fell.
Holy cow.
Into the ground.
What? Whoa.
Was I dreaming? Fiora!
Oh.
What's that?
Dang, they just put a tone poem in the game. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Wow, kind of cool and weird to introduce a new device like that out of nowhere, dude. The black and white heavy symbolism little dream thing that kind of looked like was it a dream or was it a memory? What is a tone poem? Oh, a tone poem, some people call it a symphonic poem. It's so that's originally it's a term I think that comes from music. It's like it's like a piece of music that is there to kind of like evoke a mood. And in literature and film, you kind of you use the term tone poem for a sequence in the middle of a work that I'd say prioritizes like mood, emotion, and atmosphere over plot. And most often you are using it as a tool, as a tool to bring in abstract imagery or like surreal symbols. And oftentimes it like feels like a dream, even though it isn't one. It's kind of like being a little heavy-handed here, just being like a literal dream. And the idea is that you're speaking more through metaphor than logic, right? Never heard that expression for it, but I know the thing. Cool. Yeah, there you see it a lot. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can just kind of like work our way backwards, because I actually was quite taken with that sequence. So like, what's going on there, right? You've got Shulk. He has this dream where he reaches for a piece of scrap metal. He specifically says scrap metal, which I think is important, right? When, you know, I used the word tone poem immediately because I felt that the word choice was specific. And when things are that specific, they are oftentimes important. You know, it's like you made a choice. So yeah, it reaches for a piece of scrap metal and then falls into the ground. It's so again, I think what we're using there is we're doing surreal imagery to externalize, okay, Shulk's interior conflict, right? So if you look at the dream as symbolic language, when Shulk reaches for what he perceives as a piece of scrap metal, it's like he is trying to, what is scrap metal? It is something that is broken. It is something that is discarded. But when he touches it, when he tries to reclaim this piece of something that is broken, something that is discarded, when he reaches for it, when he tries to reclaim it, when he touches it, he falls. And I don't think that fall is entirely physical as much as it is existential. And this is, you know, it's just so ripe for interpretation. You could say a lot there, right? And I think like at surface level, it's kind of easy just to be like, okay, so the scrap metal could represent Fiora, who at this point has been taken by the Mechon, seemingly made into one. And but it's funny, I almost think you could also have an interpretation of this scene where that piece of scrap metal actually represents the Monado. And because it's, you know, it's this piece of divine technology that I think Shulk both desires and fears. It's, oh man, my mind is like racing right now. I just feel like if it's me and I'm trying to be like, I'm writing an essay, I would say that like more broadly what's happening here is that piece of scrap metal is supposed to represent Shulk's obsession with the past and almost the trauma of loss, like this idea that he can understand something that is broken if he just reaches out hard enough. If he reaches out, if he claims it, he can fix it or he can understand it. Right? And then whatever the symbol is, like as soon as he grabs it, the ground gives way. And it's not just fear or confusion. I think like there's a degree to which this story is kind of playing on the idea of ego death, right? And the dream is almost dramatizing this moment of the worldview crumbling. You know, is Shulk still the chosen one with the sword? Who is the enemy? He's not even sure what it means to be a Homs at this point, right? I think what's like ultimately what's happening here is that it's very Dark Night of the Soul. If you go back and you look at the beats and the story structure, it's very Dark Night of the Soul, because I think that it's a kind of psychic ungrounding for this character, and it's kind of It's just funny when you use a device like that. You can like say so much with so little. You know, this character who is reaching for broken things that won't fix him. This idea that like certainty is a trap. I think you see that all throughout the story. Yeah, it's like I'm just trying to sort out some layers to this. I think ultimately this is a preemptive ungrounding more than it is an actual ungrounding. I think that this is a I think that thematically what that scene is supposed to do is kind of forecast where Shulk's journey is going. So see, now this is really shaking up my idea of where I thought the story was going. And now I'm kind of left to reckon with something that I didn't think was going to be maybe this prominent of an element in this story, and I'm trying to square this circle because I think again I'm just thinking about reaching for this piece of scrap metal, what Shulk wants to do, what he is trying to do, the act of fixing, but then man, the thing that falls is him. And the thing that falls is the world around him. Everything. What is he rebuilding? Is he rebuilding his own? Is this gonna turn into? This is tricky. There is a. Just put it out there. Okay. There's a question. There's a question, I think, as to how far we are going to take this idea as it pertains to Shulk. These kinds of questions of identity, the kind of neatly divided world into the good and the evil, the human and the machine. And, you know, Shulk is being presented all of these things, but how involved is he in them? You know, is it the world that surrounds Shulk, or how far are we gonna go here? And that scene to me was way more like, no, Shulk is more a part of this than any other character in this story, which is interesting. It's like, now I'm wondering, is the game about what is gonna happen to Shulk that makes him question his own identity? I'm torn if it's about him or if it's about the world. Is Shulk going to rebuild the world? Is he going to reshape the world? Or is he going to rebuild his own identity? I don't know. I'm like I'm a little like there's something interesting happening here, and man, dude. The ground like falling out from beneath him is crazy. That is crazy. You just like you do that for like the problem with interpreting the scene is that something that's happening is that you're trying to dramatize a character's unconscious fears without really saying them aloud, and it is intimate. It's like a very intimate scene without being. I was actually talking about this in the Fire Emblem stream yesterday, where I thought that game Engage really lacked intimacy. I think this scene is really intimate without being expository, and some people don't like stuff like this because it doesn't explain itself, and it trusts the player to kind of feel the fall, even if you can't define it or can't define it yet. So yeah, you can kind of like go around in circles about this. It's a little like, it's risky because what's happening when you make a choice like this is that you run the risk of being like a snooty tryhard. You know what I mean? This is the kind of scene that you accept it almost always, depending on how much you already like the thing that you are. You know what I mean? If you have a scene like this in a movie or a book or a game that you don't like, it is so easy to look at it and be like, this is so stupid. He's just trying to be artsy. And then if it's in something you do like, you're like, oh no, this is so deep and meaningful, and it's all this, and it's hard to define because it's just so lofty and weighty. You know what I mean? So Yeah, so you know what I mean. So I'm hesitant to like glaze it too much just because I am enjoying it, but I do think that it is fun that they introduced a device like this at this particular juncture in the story when I really just like wasn't seeing it coming. And I think I'm typically pretty good at reading the kind of the like clocking what is and isn't important in a scene, like what was a consideration and what was like a stronger choice versus what was a passive choice. And a scene like that is definitely yeah, it's just like throwing me a little bit. I'm curious because it means something so specific to someone. You know, it doesn't, I think when when you are a creator, when you are an artist, and when you have a scene like that in anything, you are okay with, you have made the active choice to say, I am okay if my audience does not get this. This is kind of for me. This is for me. And that's fine. I always advise writers, especially young writers, do not write about dreams because they occasionally come across as just like meaningless like fantasy diary entries, and everybody wants to write about dreams because I think dreams give the impression of depth without doing any of the work to scaffold that depth. But the way I think it does work here is that the symbols it comes fast. There are 3 of them from what I could tell. It does not overstay its welcome. It does not it doesn't like let you ruminate in the world of the dream. It just says boom, boom, boom. And it feels like there was enough scaffolded here that you can at least get a sense of a story being told. It's not just like a puzzle box that you're left to figure out on your own. Yeah. It's just, yeah, it kind of is just foreshadowing with extra steps. I also think I kind of think when dreams do that, it's like so lazy. It's so like, I couldn't figure out an artful way to have this element of foreshadowing permeate into my story. So I'm just going to have it happen in my dream so that I don't have to do the work of being an artful writer, you know? So like, so really you just gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with dreams. Oh, if you feel yourself glazing a dream too hard, turn around, turn the car around, and reconsider. Okay, I don't want to talk about Dune. I will not talk about Dune. I'm not doing it. That's too much. That's too much. I'm not writing your English papers for you. Do it. Go read the book. Write your English papers yourself. I'm not talking about. We're not doing this. All right. We're not. All right. You can't just see what's on the syllabus and say, oh, in 2 weeks, I have a paper due on 12th Night. I'm just going to wait for the next Xenoblade stream, and I'm going to ask Jake about 12th Night, and then he'll do my essay for me. Okay. See, exactly. I'm just curious. You know Huckleberry Finn? All right. We had Reactive Platypus. Thank you so much. Always love when you pick out a scene that I never even really registered before and give it a whole life of its own. This is the yapping I crave. Wow, was that about the... I'm just gonna be super annoying and call it the tone poem now. Oh, that is so annoying. But was it about that scene? How funny! I thought that scene called like a ton of attention to itself. Wow, wow, how funny! That really tells you something about how different people, how things can be important to different people and your interpretation and like how much you bring to it. I skimmed over it too. Wow. Very short, easily missable. Damn. No, that like stopped me in my tracks. That took priority over like everything else. Man, that's crazy. Okay. I've experienced this game a couple of times and I also completely, hey, thank you for the first time chat. I appreciate you revealing yourself. That's awesome. Wow, it's already 5 p.m. Jesus, we've been streaming for a long time. We'll wrap this up soon. So the other thing I want to talk about really quick is the connection between Fiora and Mayneth, and I wonder if anybody in the chat has been around long enough to know. I feel like I've kind of been on top of this for a while. These kind of like questions of identities, this kind of fight between these two consciousnesses and trying to this like who are you now you finally got into the garlic knots. Oh God, I remember saying that. I remember talking about ordering a pizza. Yeah, it's funny. I think like the way that this game, the story of this game, you kind of see the parallels in, the Bionis and the Mechanis. This is our immediate understanding of the world. Wait, maybe it's not what we thought. Wait, maybe the good guys and the bad guys, maybe this isn't what we thought. Maybe this isn't what we thought. Maybe this is more complicated than we think. And then you see it again with the Mechon, and you're like, the faced Mechon. Oh my God, they're not what we think. There's people inside of there, but the people are like this, but then they're there. And so you see that boom, 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 you see how the game is like kind of doing this thing. And I think you're like seeing this kind of like parallel plot thread with what is happening with Fiora and I want to say Maineth identity that is occupying her body right now. And the reason that these ideas I think work and don't feel random is because they are thematic parallels. It feels like all of this stuff is talking about the same thing, even though they're not, right? The one of my favorite expressions, same but different. Same but different. And that's how you develop a theme. That's how you make your story about something. You hit your theme from all these different angles, right? And now it's like you're really seeing this thing I said earlier about like, what does transformation mean for identity, right? Oh man, I'm about to impress some people in the chat. I can tell. I got something juicy. I'm about to impress some people here. Always consider the, be specific in your criticism, right? Be specific. So Fiora, Ahams, not only is she part of this mechanical being. What did we do in the scene before? That's not a Mechon. That's Mumkhar. That's not a Mechon. That's Mumkhar. That's not a Mechon. That's Fiora. Wait. Stop. Not the same situation. Something else is going on here. There's an extra wrinkle. So how do you make that meaningful? What is that? Because it can't just be that there is a second Homs inside of her head. That's not, you're not, the situation has to do some storytelling, right? So this Maineth person, when you think about the tools we have at our disposal, so here's the thing that I think is going to impress you. So what you are supposed to think is happening here is that Fiora is in this in-between Homs and Mechon space. But we already saw that with Mumkhar and the metal face. We already saw that. That's what the metal faces are. Okay? So that can't be what Fiora is doing. Fiora is doing something else. So what is the third thing that we have access to? All right? We have the Homs, we have the Mechon, we have the Bionis, we have the Mechanis. What is the third thing that we have access to? Right? And I think it's I think now this is when you reach back and you remember Zanza is still in play. There is we've done a lot of work splitting up the world into Bionis and Mechanis. I think we need to create space for a third thing that I'm gonna say maybe not like gods, but like divinity. And what you're doing here that is great, okay? What you're doing here that is awesome is that you are bringing this humanity versus divinity thing, and you are dramatizing it by combining it with these questions of identity that the game is really interested in. And what's awesome is that this theme was already in the game, because what is free will versus destiny versus predetermination? What is that? That is humanity versus divinity. That is the same theme. It's a parallel theme. It's working in the same way. So you're dramatizing this stuff that we've been doing the whole game with the future you make yourself versus the destiny that is chosen for you. We are dramatizing that by now having a humanity and divinity character where both of them are there. And one of them has to win. One of them has to win. But at the end of this game, there has to be, I don't think it's going to be, and I don't think it's going to be a third thing. So you've got this crazy thing going on where whatever happens to Fiora is telling you how the game is going to end. Who will win? The divine? The humans? Will you create your own world? Or will you live in the one that the gods made for you? That's the game. This world has crumbled underneath you. Will you create a new one? Or will you let the gods do it? Will you let the gods do it and live in their world and keep following their instructions? Is Fiora gonna triumph over this other thing? Or is she gonna give in to the will of Mayneth? There it is. That's the game. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Because what you are doing dramatically here is that you are creating a character who will later literalize a lot of what is happening in this game. Sorry, I've got one more thing. You're all gonna think I'm so smart, I promise. You've got a character who can speak to both things, who can dramatize that friction, that tension, right? Because now you've got this character, you've got Fiora, who has her love for Shulk, her memories, her desires, her relationships to the people on the planet, but can also speak to the perspective of a god who can see the broader cosmic picture, the zoomed out thing. The guys that are out here, I said something about this before, that they see the Homs, they see everybody as ants that they just toss into their mouths and they chew up for energy. I can see both of these things. I can be the little person and I can be the big person. And by having that perspective in a person, what you are doing is that you are literalizing the duality and you are making it easier to access the emotional resonance of these issues by literalizing them within a character that you already care about on a personal level, right? Bring it back to the beats, bring it back to the story stuff, bring it back to the structure. Bring it back to the structure. You think about the B story, the emotional arc that you are on. There's a B story character. This is clearly the B story character, Fiora / Mayneth, whatever we want to call them. And this is a character who is readily representing the theme or maybe the emotional, spiritual lesson that the protagonist once learned. So think about this. Think about stories are movements. They're not moments. Okay? Fiora. Once the object of Shulk's revenge is now transformed. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. You know what's good about it? Because now, Fiora is the hardest thing to understand in this world. Fiora is the challenge. Can you become someone whose understanding is able to cross enemy lines? All right, I'm cooking up some other stuff, but we need to stop. I'm doing too much. I can tell I'm doing too much. There's some cool stuff kind of happening here in terms of subverting the damsel character. If you reach way back, I was worried that we were fridging Fiora. I was worried that she was there to kind of serve the the story in kind of that tropey way. And I think, you know, just being the catalyst for Shulk's rage, the catalyst for Shulk's quest. But her return now is really subverting that trope. And instead of remaining the object of motivation, she returns as an agent for, I think, maybe whatever the ultimate goal of the game is. To understand this perspective, to understand this character is to understand the world of the game. So, and it's kind of interesting that something is happening with empathy here. The idea that Mayneth heard Fiora's cries to help Shulk, to protect Shulk, and Mayneth decided to do it. There is something. I think we're trying to say something about empathy and the power of empathy there that I imagine will be developed into the future. And I think it's just good that in terms of craft, Fiora, I think, is is a love interest, but that's not even like the first, second, or third role that she's serving. And I think it's very clear that she is like a thematic pillar of this story. Man, it's so fun. We're doing so many fun things. It's like this moment is such a strong premise, right? Because it really makes you wonder what the game is going to be interested in exploring from this point forward. You know, can the soul transcend the machine? Can the love between Fiora and Shulk survive transformation? Man, you know what's cool too? You know what's cool, chat? You know what's really cool? Remember way back when I was talking about how Act 1 is the thesis, Act 2 is the antithesis, and Act 3 is the synthesis? It's kind of cool that we've got this character who I think is the synthesis. You know, machine and organic, Mechanis, Bionis, and revenge and reconciliation. Yeah. And I think that the connection between these characters, Mayneth and Fiora, really is going to serve as a premonition of the story's resolution. Will the cycle of violence continue? Will Mayneth claim domain over Fiora, or can they imagine a new world? Can they build that? Forgetful Shrug, thank you so much for the Prime sub. First month, love to see it. So many people supporting the stream today. And if you were not here for the live show and you were watching on youtube.com, thank you so much for watching this VOD. I hope you enjoyed it. This was fun. I was not expecting so many seeds I planted earlier to come together, to blossom and bloom. I rarely end these streams and feel really good about all of the stuff that I had set up, that I had scaffolded in the past. And this one, I was on a bio break today and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I think I'm really teaching something. I think my lessons are actually coming together. I think that this stuff is really starting to make sense. So sometimes I get worried when I start off a stream and I'm like, do I really have anything left to tell these people? Haven't I gone through my lessons? Haven't I said everything there is to say? And then we have a good day like today. I feel like there's so much rich, good, juicy stuff to talk about. So this was really fun for me. I hope it was really fun for you. Please leave a comment below and do all of that sweet YouTube stuff. And if you are able, please drop by twitch.tv/JakeKnowsIt. Hit the follow button, get the notifications on. And next time I am streaming, come through here, reveal yourself, and join us. Come on in for that Twitch exclusive content. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. See you next time. Bye.